move ahead and push on. And it's going to be
Okay, sir.
a very nice one today. Meanwhile, how was your week? How did you spend the week? Were you able to go through the training, the videos trainings? So if you were, kindly share what you got from the training, the week assignment. Did you participate in the assignments? Did you do the classwork? How did you find it?
Okay. Yes, my week was nice, was filled with learning, and yeah, and yes, I did the assignment, and I know what it is. So I'll share the little thing I got and understood that from it. So a SOC is basically SOC is a security operations center. Why is a SOC analyst is an analyst that operates in that center. So basically what they do is they analyze and monitor data traffic on a network. They are like the first line of the video. They used a practical a capsule of oh no of yes, like a castle. They have guards inside and everything. We still have to place armed guards on the tower to look out for possible attack so they can warn people inside. So that's like basically the representation of what a analyst is. And he also went to mention the other areas of the IT department, which they have network security, they have network technicians, they have endpoint security, that's the EDR security. They have threat intelligence, threat hunters. I want to mention of the SOC and level one SOC, which is just to look out that 24 hours monitoring of threats looking for, and when the threat is identified, it quickly alert three, that is lead, and the is the one does a deep dive into analysis that is found. While the level three, that's the SOC lead, is the one that makes the playbooks is a security threat needs to be sorry, security operations needs to be carried out. They're like steps to and why the security SOC manager rather is the one that lays out the vision and mission of the team, and the budget also has organization gives him analysis on their security. And he also went on to mention tools that's being used in. Sorry, sir, please can you hear me? I feel I muted my mic. Hello, sir.
I can hear you. I'm following you. I'm listening to hear what you're saying. So go
I
ahead.
thought I muted my mic. Sorry. I muted my mic. Okay, so they went to mention. I went to learn was used in carrying out the analysis. So that is security information and event management tool. There are logs. That was the stop the logs and look malicious content. Notice true violations, which
Yes. So from all you said, I think it's evident that you really went through the course, and I'm glad you did. I'm very, very much glad that you did. So do you have any questions there? Because we're still going to go through them now, just on high level. We're going to go through them just on high level. just to do like a summary. Do you have any questions ahead?
No, sir.
Okay, it's all right. So confirm that you could hear me quite correctly, right?
Yes, I
I think your network is breaking a bit, but I want to know if you could hear me very well from your end. Okay, you can also use the chat room.
no, sir.
You can hear me very well, right?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Okay, it's all right. So we're going to continue. So first of all, welcome to this week's bootcamp series. After a very intensive week, uh, I believe the content of the week was very inspiring, and all thanks to our friend Anand Guru, who is as an instructor on this particular session. He's the founder of SOC Experts. Okay, and he has trained at least 5,000 students in cybersecurity careers, and he has been in the space for, I think, since that COVID-19 till now is how many years? COVID-19 till now. When was COVID-19? Which year was that?
2020,
Okay.
that's 4 years ago.
Yeah. So 4 years plus 13 years now is 17 years. So he has 17 years cybersecurity experience and 6 years in cyber trainings. So this is a course is a very good landing foot for SOC. And also, of course, if you had gone, as you went through the program, you understand why SOC is one of the easiest way to go into cybersecurity. And it is the place that has almost more space for jobs entry. So we are thanking Anand Guru once more. You could follow his link also and share his link to people who want to, get a foot into the system. So moving ahead, the course is majorly about what SOC is, how it has evolved, the people, processes, technologies in SOC, the skills that are required, even the non-IT, where does SOC fit in, why companies need so many computers, what are the different IT teams, different security teams, and why SOC jobs are so hot in the market. So this is just the summary of what we're going to talk about today. Hopefully, I believe we're going to finish it today. So where do SOC jobs fit in? We were meant to understand that in the job market, this blue section is the entire, let's say, is the entire market, okay? Whereby you find the HR, the sales, accounting, construction, medicals, name it. Everybody is in the blue line. And the blue line is what is facing the market. Inside this orange line, that's where you find developers, front end, full stack, text engineers, Python. These engineers, they make use of these technologies, Python, Java, .NET, all JavaScript, all their front and back end, um, what's it called, technologies used to develop solutions for the market. Then inside the orange, you'll find the system engineer, the network engineer, the database guys. So these guys work on the network feed the front end and the back end, the back end and front end give in to the solutions that are in the market. Now, the entire market, we have the information technology segment, they have the IT infrastructure. Then below it, we now have the IT security, which is like the yoke, the core parts of the whole system. Where you have the IM, the endpoint security guys, vulnerability assessment guys, you'll find the network security guys too. Now, finally, inside there, you now find SOC. This is where SOC is. SOC is in the way inside the system. Then you'll find a SOC analyst, which make use of same SOA and threat intels to execute their job. Now, he cited an example with related fields for civil engineers. As a civil engineer, you should be able to know how to work with the architect, the mason man, the tile worker, the painter, the electrician, and the plumber. So you should have like a broad knowledge on how to work with these people. And so also is the SOC analyst. The SOC analyst, upon having ideas of same SOA and a threat, you should also know how to interface with the IM, the endpoint, the vulnerability guys, the network security. At least you should still have ideas of database network engineers. And having ideas does not mean you have to be an expert in them. You should just have a basic knowledge of, okay, this is what these guys are doing, or this is what they should. So you will not be totally lost. And also you will know how to interface while working with them. So we went on to explain why SOC jobs are in demand. And he pointed out the cybersecurity skill shortage is getting worse. Some of the snippets from news that will let you know that the skill is in shortage, and the demand is increasing day by day. So far as there is a product out there in the market, so far as technology is alive, security is there. So, in fact, when COVID came, COVID made the hunt more even be in demand because COVID gave birth to remote work. And now it is now possible for people to build and work remotely, and so also to secure remotely. So I like this analysis he gave. He said there is this myth going around that cybersecurity is difficult. Yes, it is difficult when you don't have a pathway, when you don't have people who guide you into telling you this and that, how this is how you're going to go. So when you go on YouTube to say you want to learn cybersecurity, you're going to find a lot of information, a lot of career paths, a lot, and they will not bring it to you in an organized way. So it is like all these segments of these trees here. You'll find everybody's teaching different domains. So it is enough to make someone to be wary and scared of what he or she is doing. And of course, cybersecurity is not hacking. Hacking is involved in cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is not hacking. Okay. So having gotten that out of the way, we'll go diving straight into Security Operations Center. So just to remind us, I think in the next 15 to 20 minutes, we'll take a 5 minutes break when we'll switch on to the next room and log in again to finish up the class. Hope you're with me, right? Hello? Okay. So while explaining the Security Operations Center, we explained that the domain started evolving since 2012. 63% of job security opportunities are in security operations. You can imagine a whooping 63% of job in cybersecurity. They are in this particular section, Security Operations Center. And currently, it still has a low entry barrier, but it's increasing. The barrier is they are increasing it. It's increasing more. They're now looking at more for hands-on experience, people who have on-the-job experiences, and also followed by their certifications, it is. So, like I told you guys earlier, while you're in this boot camp, you have to make up your mind so that at the end you will further up your career, and furthering it up. Also, you still need a guided pattern, else you will be confused. Why a guided pattern? So that you'll be able to get linked into getting your job and etc. other stuff. So he made mention of different IT teams in a company, the system team, the network, the endpoint, network security, information security, the SOC, the application dev team, the database, and the IT help desk. Okay, and also the cloud virtualization, vulnerability assessment, identity and access management. That is IAM, identity and access management. Yeah. So moving on, he tried to explain those different teams, what they do. The system team, stroke the server team, that's the first one. The system team, they provide the systems, they install and maintain the operating systems, installing necessary applications for employees, and installing and configuring managing servers. Now, the good thing about this is in all these IT teams, there are job opportunities there. There are job opportunities there. Some people can stay in the system team, some people can go into the network team, some people, but Security Operations Center has more juice in it. So the network team are the guys that plan and design the network architecture, installing and also maintaining network devices. Okay. The endpoint security team, these guys protect endpoints in the network using machines, user machines and servers. It is installing and configuring and maintaining endpoint security solutions. And they make use of things like antivirus, host firewall, host intrusion prevention systems, HIPS, disk encryption, data loss prevention, endpoint detection and response. So these guys that work in cybersecurity, they make use of this particular set of tools. The network security team, these guys, they protect the overall network of the system. They go through installing, configuring, maintaining, etc., the security solutions. And they make use of the firewall, intrusion prevention system, web gateway, email gateway, wireless security, and WAF, web application firewall. Then the InfoSec security team. If you were attentive, one of the pioneers that joined us last week, when he was giving his closing speech, he made mention that even if you're not good in other technical parts or other literal parts of cybersecurity, you can stay here. You can be in the GRC. These are the guys that do the conduct. They conduct regular audits. They do the drafting security policies, adherence to regulatory compliance, user awareness training, etc. So they are here. These guys also are in cybersecurity. The vulnerability assessment team, these guys also use automated tools to scan the network to identify the vulnerabilities in applications and in systems. When they find loopholes, just like we said last week, loopholes which are vulnerabilities, they patch it up. So they also, the vulnerability assessment team, they analyze the reports and work with various teams to fixing the vulnerabilities. And when they fix it, they use a code word called patching. You see, when they say that your software is updating, it's actually patching. That's what it means. So the IM team, they create and manage identities and access rights of people, employees and customers. So they provision user accounts, the passwords, and the grant access. The Security Operations Center guys, they monitor, detect, investigate, and respond to cyber threats. They also work with SMEs of other teams to remediate the security incident. So they make use of the SIM tool, the SOA, the threat intelligence, and the analysis. So now, in recent time, we found out that SOC has almost become the center of security for all these segments. The system network, endpoints, network security, vulnerability, IAM, help desk development, they all point towards the services that the Security Operations Center guys offer. So moving into the evolution of SOC, he explained that Stuxnet was one of the first cyber weapons that ever was created, and it was designed to bring down Iran's nuclear power plant. And this particular, what's it called, event or cyber attack was so unique that I think for almost 6 months that the attack took place, they didn't know that the attack has already been done until that number of times. So you can imagine how bad and desperate these guys can be. He also illustrated some major cyber attacks in the past, like the Sony, Yahoo, Visa, Subway, Target. I think Yahoo has almost one of the highest number of cyber attacks that has happened in time. Say they have up to the attack affected 3 billion of its users' accounts. 3 billion. You can imagine how many billions of people are in the whole world. Then 3 billion was attacked, was impacted through the attack that was done on Yahoo. So now you will now ask the question, who is safe in the internet? Obviously, if I to answer you this question, I would say nobody is safe. But somehow you can make yourself less or less prone to the attacks because there are bunch of people to attack. So when somebody comes and knock on your door, tries to break it down, he doesn't. He stops there and doesn't want to waste his time. So he goes to another person that looks easy. So with the findings that has been in the past, it was noted that it took 205 days for companies. Then it took almost 205 days for companies to detect an attack. You can imagine how many days it takes to detect an attack when it's carefully carried out. 80 days before the attack, there were indications that this attack would happen. These indications are called IOCs, IOC, indication of compromise. And that is what the SOC guys are looking at for every day. When you are working in the SOC environment, you look out for indicators of compromise. Those things that look like, you come, the way your key is before is no more the way it is. That means somebody must have tampered with it. You take that as an evidence and pursue, try to ensure that it is not what it is. Okay. It was also found out that 67% of the time the attacks were detected not by the company but by external entities who it's affected. So he also illustrated that, for example, the the findings were noticed. These are unnoticed indicators happening January 20th. And from January 20th till April the 2nd, all these indicators of compromise were existent in the system and it was not being captured. Now, the attack carried out or was executed April 2nd. Now, it took the company from April till November to detect an attack. What do you think about that? What can you speak about that? Tell me, what's your mind? What do you think? What do you think? Has it been SOC has not come in? What do you think the world would have been by now if this is what was found? Let me hear it from you.
Sorry, sir, I didn't get the question.
I said, what do you think about this scenario where attack is being carried out or findings or poaching about an attack is being started by January of a year and up till April nobody noticed it. Then the attack was executed in April and still nobody noticed it till December, till November 19th. So what do you think? How does the yes, what do you think?
It looks like is usually exploits or and why it was carried out was they didn't do periodical check the system and the network went unnoticed due to lack of SOC analysts.
Yeah.
That's my take.
People who could follow up. Where we go ahead, you will see the reason why it's even harder to keep track of all this. So in the next 10 minutes, we'll be switching the network. But if it gets to like 2 minutes before we switch, I'll let you know. Okay. So let's go
Okay, sir.
ahead. Yeah. So the root cause of the problem was analyzed and found, and to say that lack of visibility is the reason why such incidents could be carried out and nobody will know about it, and it will cause a huge catastrophe on a system. That's when they now found out and declared that there's need for security monitoring. There is need. for human being to put his eyes there, not just machine. You see why SOC and cybersecurity will not go out of job. There is a need for a human being to monitor the machines while the machines are doing their work. So now, the reason why it was even hard or is even harder to keep track of all these things is they don't just come and say, hey, I'm a hacker. A hacker sent me to come and hack you. No, the computer talks in logs, logs, logs. It writes what is happening to it. It's like a baby that cannot talk. The only way the baby talk is to give sign. So the computer gives signs, and how the computer gives signs is to keep trace of what is happening to it. So it drops logs, and these logs are the things we should monitor when you're working in the SOC environment. In the systems and the servers, the security solutions, the network devices, even your Wi-Fi has logs. Your phone has a system inside it, it keeps logs. Everything that has to do with the internet and the computer keeps logs of information. And it's inside those logs that you will find out what happened, how it happened, when it started, where it's going to, is it still in motion or it has finished happening. It is inside those logs that you find out what is happening. Okay, so now, like I was saying, the logs are not that easy to write. You need to also be trained by practice on how to look up and know loopholes or indicate or find out IOCs, which are indications of compromise that are inside logs. For example, this log, all the logs you are seeing here, there are things you should be looking at for in case of their real attacks. And we found out that they normally come in huge volumes, okay? Almost 25 million plus logs in a day. See, how many of them can you actually look in a day? That is where we now need those systems that or those technologies like SIM, SOA, and the SIM tools, they use the SIM tools to vet all these. Okay. I think I should show you at the end of the train, at the end of today, I might be able to show you what the same tool, the one I work with, how it displays incidents, how it displays errors and stuff like that, so that you could have an idea of what it looks like. So you can imagine when 300 logs are being pushed out in a second. How many can you actually look at in a second if 300 comes out in a second? So the solution of that is SIM, Security Information and Event Management. This comprises of the tools needed to vet these logs, the tools needed to look into these logs in an analyzed form. So your DNS, your WAF, your Wi-Fi, your network tools, when they get these logs, they push it into the SIM, and the SIM push them out and detect whether these are suspicious activities or not. So a quick recap before we'll switch our network. We found out the problem, and we found out the root cause, and also we've identified the solution, and the solution is the SIM. Okay. So in real life, the analogy, he painted a funny analogy that people, when they drive their bike, they always fall, and most times the bad things happen. And they say the root cause is they don't wear their helmet. And the solution is to wear your helmet. But we all know that people don't like wearing helmets. So they get the transport officers who enforce people to wear their helmets. Just like we have these transport officers and how people don't like wearing their helmets. So we also have people who do not like to put security in place in their products out of laziness or out of carelessness or out of anything. So these rule enforcers have been, presented or instituted to ensure that products have security or they follow a standard compliance ways. So these guys take care of regulatory compliances and also to ensure that products follow industrial practices. These are PCI, GDPR, HIPR, secure monitoring, and of course they had to make it compulsory, and that's why people started, um, paying attention to security and securing their products. So one of the companies that has pushed out products like SIM is IBM. They acquired the One Labs, and the McAfee also acquired the Nitro Security guys. We have Splunk, and I attached this one I think, last time. This is a Wazoo. Wazoo is the one that I use in our current SOC. So I will show you how Wazoo looks like, hopefully before the class runs out. Okay. So we're going to be talking now about the SOC security analysts, their job roles, what they do, how they do the things they do, the tools they do, the things they do. So I think it was summarized by the people, the process, and the technologies. Now, this is a sample of a SOC center where people stay and they monitor systems. They monitor systems. And what are they looking at for? IOCs, indicators of compromise. Once they find it, they alert the team behind that, come, we are seeing something. Just like the war guys in the old times that he cited the example with. So a person who works in the SOC is called the security analyst, SOC analyst. And let's get back to these illustrations and run through it while I switch over to the network. So go get a cup of water or get a cup of wine or Zobo, depending on the wine you have, or coffee, so we can switch to the next room. Thank you. So in continuation, we wanted to give analysis of one of the analysis that and Guru gave, which is a very, very vital one. Say in the military, in the olden times, we have this set of warriors, okay? Especially the Roman guys. They have the spear guys, they have the bow, arrow, the knife, the sword, and the ones that go with animals. And they use different tools and weapons. Spear, short knife, arrow, sword, and cannons. Trying to set an example of an ancient Roman war system, whereby apart from having all these armies in place, they have this guy that normally stays at the watchtower, okay? And he also has bell and he has a telescope. So in real times, what he does is he monitors for possible attack coming from far. His major work is to ensure that he sees the attack coming from far. Then he alerts the army. So the purpose of this guy is early detection of possible enemy attack and reduce the impact damage. At least it gives the company, the army, time to prepare themselves ahead. So the same thing in cybersecurity, especially SOC. This range of soldiers are in cybersecurity, they could be likened to as endpoint security, network security, vulnerability assessment, and the IM. So the tools, the weapons they use, the guys in the army, they use the spear, the knife, the arrow, and the cannon. Endpoint security, the tools they use is antivirus, HIPS. HIPS is host intrusion prevention security. They use host firewall, FIM, the application control, the EDR, DLP2. Network security guys, they have their own tools. The firewall, IPS, intrusion protection security, email gateway, web gateway, WAF. WAF is a web application firewall, anti-DDoS. DDoS, I will expect you to ensure that you get the full meanings of all these short words so you can be conversant with them. Like DDoS means distributed denial of service. So what that does is when your system is being attacked with DDoS, distributed, the first one is DOS, which is denial of service, meaning if you're a network that sells credits like MTN, someone can attack you and give you over service, meaning your network, let's say MTN is able to only serve 20 people at a time. Attack can come and 1 million people will be sent to your service, to your network, to your website at the same time. What do you think will happen to the network? Tell me.
Much traffic, server overload.
Exactly. It will crash. The system will crash. So it's an attack too. So why DDoS is distributed denial of service, where different services are being pushed in to that at the same time. Everything will be happening at the same time. And within a short time, the system will just collapse. So vulnerability assessment, security guys, they use the VS scanners and the IM guys. So the SOC guys, what they use is SIM, SOA, threat intelligence, and threat hunting. And I think we're going to touch a little bit of all these tools that the SOC guys handle. So what is SOC? SOC is like the first line of defense, cyber defense, is the eyes and the ears of the organization's security. And also they monitor, detect, and investigate and respond to cyber threats. Okay. That's your major job. These are your jobs when you are in the SOC environment. You are the first line of cyber defense. You are the eyes and the ears of the organization, and you monitor, detect, investigate, and respond to cyber threats. So, just like I said, those are your jobs. When you monitor for alerts from SIM, you analyze the alerts to know whether it is a real alert or the one that is not real. You decide if it is legitimate or bad. If it is legitimate, you ignore it. If it's not, you make a report, raise a ticket about it, and shout there is an incoming attack. Send it to the people ahead of you, and you also help the team in stopping the bad activities. So we'll move over to different roles in the SOC environment, where we'll talk about the people, the process, and the technology. Okay. The people in SOC, starting from the lowest, which is L1, level 1 security analyst. So this is the lowest hanging fruit, level 1 security analyst, the people that work in SOC. If you decide to pursue your career ahead as a SOC analyst, you join as a level 1 security analyst. You join or you get trained as level 1 security analyst. From level 1, you move over to level 2. From level 2, you move over to level 3, become a SOC lead. Then from SOC lead, you can advance into a SOC manager. We also have other roles like the threat intelligence guy, the threat hunter, the incident handler, forensic investigator, IR, that's incident response automation engineer, and the red team specialist. So the higher the role, the more complicated or the higher the skills that are required. You understand? So the L1, the level 1 SOC analysts, they watch the screens, they analyze triggered alerts following there is a particular playbook that will be shown. These are the steps, these are the kind of things to look out for. For example, if a user tries to log in to his password and makes a mistake, it triggers an alert.
Hello, sir, can you hear me? My network
I
is
can
acting up.
Okay, sorry about that. Okay. So
But can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay.
So let's go ahead. So the SOC analyst level 1, these guys are the first on the list. So apart from looking on I think I was citing an example. I said if someone tries to log into his bank account and his password, maybe he mistakes a character in the password, an alert will be triggered. Now, when he tries it a second time and gets it wrong, an alert will be triggered. When he tries it a third time and gets it right, an alert will also be triggered that he has gotten it right. So you will now look, why did it fail twice? Okay, this alert, okay, he failed twice, then he has gotten it. Okay, it was a mistake. But when you see the first one wrong, second one wrong, third one wrong, fourth one wrong, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, all in the space of 1 minute, what do you think is happening? Tell me.
That's where correlation rule sets in, where a correlation of the same attack from the same users and the same pattern. So it triggers the SIM to
Okay, what I was expecting is when you
possible brute
notice.
force.
Okay, go ahead. You said
Okay, I want to add like that. That's them called a possible brute force attack.
yes, yes, because yeah, normal on a layman you're like no, something is wrong. It's either he's not the owner of this account that is trying to open this door. Somebody must be trying to open it by force. So those are the kind of things that the level 1 SOC analysts they look out for, and they alert. They raise a ticket. Tickets also are being raised. To raise a ticket is just like to give a detailed information about an event. You pick up all your analysis, the stuff that you noticed, and those things that you are getting them from the same tool. For example, if you are using Splunk or using Wazoo, you pick them out from there, then you put them in a ticket, then send them to analyzer, someone that is ahead of you to analyze it. So the SOC level 2 also, I didn't talk about the certifications. Here on level 1, I forgot to add the exam you are going to sit is also one of the newest and one of the most applicable level 1 SOC analyst exam. Okay, so that's a certified in cybersecurity by ISC too, IASC. So it is still needed here. Likewise, the SOC analyst too, people they take it too. But this other certificates in cybersecurity is very costly. It's very costly. The ones you are going to take, the actual cost is around $299, a bit $300. So, but through this program, you're going to go through and take it for the first time free of charge. Okay. Then, if you don't pass the exam, you receipt. Then, when you're now receipting, you have to pay to receipt for the exam. And also, what else? Why taking the exams is not the certificate that is just the main thing, but having a knowledge of the skills. So most times it works the other way around, where with the skills you get a job, then while you're in the job, you fund your certifications, that kind of stuff. You understand me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the level 2 SOC analyst guys, they have deep dive analysis of escalated alerts. They take it up from the L1 and they do more incident remediation, then also assist in analysis and push it up. So they push it to the SOC lead. These guys see their roles. The more you go up ladder, the more your roles and your skills increase. See the list of the roles, the things that the SOC lead does: installing, updating, upgrading the SIEM solution, onboarding, creating and fine-tuning content in the SIEM, interact with the same vendors, install, manage, build content in the same, mentor. They are the ones that will mentor level 1 and level 2 security analysts. Also assist in analysis, evaluate new solutions, create new playbooks for alerts for companies, and also schedule shift rosters. So these are the works of the SOC lead. And also, like you already know, as you go up to, your salary goes up. I think the lowest for the SOC analyst, I heard from the company we are working with, the NGO company that we also work with. I think their starting salary is around $28,000 a year annually. $28,000 annually. And if you go by it in Naira, you'll be having like 44.8 million in a year. Divided by 12 months, that's around 3.7 million every month. So, and that's way low, actually way low. But as a starter, that's you can just jump in from there and start. So the more you go up, the more your stuffs and your salary, your skill, and your job also grows. So the SOC manager, these guys, the manager oversees what is happening below him from the SOC lead down. He defines the scope, vision, and direction of the SOC team, supervise the team, oversee the activities of the SOC members, develop and improve processes and procedures, ensure compliance, and create compliance reports, vendor management also, and report on security operations to business leaders. These guys, they report to the owners of the business. Okay. So we have the threat intel researcher. These guys, their work is to look far, to search, and to look out for threats. They say they track and monitor vulnerability life cycles from zero-day discovery to CVE allocation and patch release. So zero-day discovery means, how do I put it? A zero-day discovery is something that's a vulnerability that has not been discovered. You don't know that it is existing there. But when a hacker finds a zero-day, they are very happy because, number one, 0 days, they don't have any plan in place. There's no medicine for 0 days in place. Example is COVID. When COVID came out, it went wide and spread because there was no standing medicines for it because it was never in existence before. So hackers make use of 0 days. They are looking every day to find 0 day vulnerabilities in systems. So the threat intel researchers, they look out for those kind of stuff. They profile and monitor specific cyber threat actors. They crawl the dark web and deep web to identify new breaches and data leaks. So they go the extra mile to find and get information so that they can update the team and the SOC team. Okay. They will always or should always be having current information. They conduct research to generate new threat intelligence with the OSINT, USAT, CVM meter, and NVAD, etc. Those stuff. So the threat hunter does his own work to logs mining and identify threats. These guys, they read those logs to identify the threat, then they track it down. They track the threat actors and associated techniques, they capture intelligence on the threat actor, and they analyze network traffic and analyze malicious campaigns. For example, if your home network is supposed to, when you check your data usage, and normally when you buy 2.5 gig of 500 naira, in a day, you're expected to use, let's say you use 1 gig every day. Then at the end of one day, you find out that the 2.5 gig has finished. What will be your thinking? Well, what do you think will happen? How will you look at that situation? What will be your questions that you ask?
It means that there is either a threat actor using my
Yes,
using my resources rather.
yes, yes. And someone must have been using your stuff. So you go to your system and you find out that your system is running. Once your system is on the internet, it's running, the capacity is running too much. Something else is doing something on the ground that you're not aware of. So the threat hunter looks for all those kind of stuff, captures them, and takes care of them. Incident handler, this guy formulates and executes a response to the incident and verify what is contained. Okay, verify that it is contained, eradicated, and the systems are recovered. When a breach has happened, the incident handlers, they come in and they ensure that they contain it, stop it where it has stopped, get the system back to normal and get businesses back to normal. Based on the review of processes and steps taken to remediate an incident, suggest and implement improvements in the environment, such as improving their technical controls or their security controls, and also improve the incident response processes. These guys also develop and update incident response playbooks to ensure response activities align with best practices, etc. So we also have the forensic specialists. These guys, they go through, they are like FBI. They go and look for evidence. They go look for evidence, IOCs, indicators of compromise, whatever they can pick. They gather them together and conduct an accurate, logical, consistent, grammatically correct, evidentiary, qualitative forensic reports. And in all, they tell the story of how the attack went from step 1, step 2 to the end in a way that everybody will understand it and sit up. So the red team specialists, these guys continuously scan the network to identify weakness in system. They can actually hack a system. And these guys, they work with the system. They are in-house. So they are not the bad guys. They are in-house. They try to poke or hack the system so that they will constantly find ways that the bad guys would do this kind of thing if they were to attack them. So the automation engineer automates repeated tasks in SOC team. So there are tasks that need repetition. So these guys, they automate such repetitions, integrate the separate systems so that they can work together. And they also develop scripts that can be run on infected systems to collect machine states. Most times when systems are corrupt, you can't get anything from them, but there are special skills that are needed to get the analysis of this system, even while it is being attacked. So these guys, they develop the scripts that run such. They automate analysis of triggered alerts using the SOAR platform. So going ahead, we'll talk about the SOC technologies. I think we're almost getting to an end. The SOC technologies are the same, the threat intelligence, the analysis tools, and the SOAR, which we've already talked about that the same takes logs, and these logs, when they pass through the same push them out and sieves them so that you can know whether these ones are suspicious activities or not. So, for example, we've already started this example when someone tries to log in and it doesn't go. So the same tool brings out all this information so that you know most times it actually gives you grammatical names of such of an attack when it comes up. So the logs are sent to the same, and when an attacker tries to guess the password, for every attempt with wrong password, there will be a login failure event log. So they go into the same, correlation is being done, and output is being given out. So in the SOC room, the security analyst, you will sit down and you will get this information. Then you will now perform what is on the playbook. If it is a false alert, you close it. If it is not, then you push it up to the next thing. So the threat intelligence guys, these are cyber threat intelligence, is an information about threats and threat actors that help mitigate harmful events in the cyberspace. So there are people that their majority is to, get informations about cybersecurity, and they will disseminate it to businesses, to systems, to corporations and organizations, so that they will be able to know this kind of stuff is out. So look at where it's attacked, and look at how it's attacked, and look at the possible ways you can use to stay away from it. So just like the World Health Organization does whenever they figure out a breach in health space, the threat intelligence, cyber threat intelligence guys also do the same. So he also listed out open source threat intelligence websites or platforms where you could get current threats intelligence. There are some commercial ones and also the ones that are open source. Okay. So we also looked into the analysis tools. The security analyst has analyzed the alerts triggered in the same tool. We have the host, the process, and the memory. You can also, the attack can be within a LAN or the whole internet. Some of the tools are these that are listed here. The showdown, I think I used the showdown a few days ago. I have the virus total, IP void, IBM export, the Wireshark, the Zig. So as you go into, when you summarize this bootcamp and you decide to go into SOC or even any of the pathways in cybersecurity, you will meet these tools, you'll be using them. And of course, one of the tools which is not listed here, Bob Suite, will be used for your capstone project when you'll be doing the project. So the SOA, I added here that the SOA is a software solution that enables security teams to integrate and coordinate separate security tools. They automate repetitive tasks and streamline incident and threat response workflows. So that's the work of the SOA. The SOA full meaning is security orchestration, automation, and response. They orchestrate, they automate, and they respond to threats. So explaining it further, when alerts come out from the scene, they are sent to the SOA. So they get in the Active Directory, they get the department of a user. In the threat intelligence, they check the reputation of the IP of file. For example, when something happens, when someone knocks on your door, you check which of the door the person is knocking on. You now check whether this kind of knock, have you heard it before? Is it an attack knock? There's a way somebody will knock on your door, then you know that this is not normal person. When you hear a second of ko, you say, okay, who is there? But when you hear ging, will you open the door at first? Will you open the door when you hear such a knock?
Sir.
So what will you do?
No, sir.
What are you going to do?
I would investigate who is knocking.
Yeah.
In that
Early
scenario, I
yeah,
investigate who is knocking.
yeah. Early this morning, someone knocked like that in my door. I have to shout, who are you? Who is knocking like that in my door? I have to look from the window to know who is knocking like that because we have to be very observant and vigilant. So in the SOA, during the vulnerability scanner, he checks if the given system has critical vulnerabilities. Also check if the IP file is from a malicious attacker. When people attack or try to access a system, when you check their IP address, then run those IP address across IP checker. There are some platforms that what they do is they keep data of IP addresses and they check if these IP addresses they are from good or from the bad place, whether they have what's it called, a history of bad. So there are some platforms like that. So once it passes through the SOA, the firewall, antivirus, Active Directory, and vulnerability scanner, the firewall blocks the IP address if it's a bad one. The antivirus scans the machine. Then Active Directory disables the user if it's a bad user. Then also run a vulnerability scan. So he went ahead to analyze that there should be a two-way integration between the SOA and other solutions. And this two-way integration happens with an API, which is the application programming interface of various solutions. So going ahead, the SOC models, we have the in-house model, we have the outsource model, we have the hybrid, and the things that will form your decision factors for choosing a SOC model as an organization is your budget, your experience of running a SOC, and the talent or skill available. If you are working in a company tomorrow and they are looking at getting a SOC, so you first look at the budget the company has for security. How much is the budget? Then also you check the experience you have and also the experience of running the SOC and also the talent or skill available. Okay, so and I believe we are almost at the end of the class. So this is a graphical representation of the SOC. This is in-house. They monitor their stuffs and once they have the skills, they set up their skills and their systems in-house to monitor. If they don't have, they extend it, outsource it out to an MSSP, managed security or security service provider. I think so, managed service security provider. And they will do this, companies do this till they get trained. After getting trained, they can now do in-house SOC. Then the hybrid is also where they shared different clients come together and they share an MSP and they share together. So it's been a very wonderful time. And this week, your work with this week is going to be with the ISC organization. You're going to register with them. So once this meeting is done, probably before the day runs out, I will guide you guys on how to register. It's free. So far as you're in this program, it's free. You register and you go through those training. Those are the training you're going to go through till the 4th week. And while you're going through the training, you're getting ready for your exams. And that reminds me, heads up also, with the information you have now, I think before when you're registering for the ISC2 Cybersecurity Certified Program, you take a first initial mock exam. I think very few questions, but with the information you already have now, I think you should do well in the first sitting. Then you will now enter their own training also. So next week and when we come, we'll look at some of the teachings that they've had and how to go forward on it, and also more on how to prepare you for your exam that is coming. So if you have any question, sharing stuff that's saved window is closed. You could ask any question you have. Let me see whether I could get my sock open and share with you.
Okay. Well, the only question I have is how is the SOC analyst different from the info no, what am I saying? Is the SOC analyst the same thing as the governance body, like people that set the regulation? Are they the same thing? Because the InfoSec they conduct audits and all stuff like that. So I'm asking if that job description is also part of them, like that's part of their job description rather. And also the exam, I heard you'd have to go to center. Is that right? Or
Yes,
it can be done
yes.
online?
No, you will have to. There is an in-house exam, and also the main one you have to go to a registered CBT exam around you, sorry, center around you, and take the. I will shed more light on the exam from next week, how you're going to go through it. Okay. So
Is there
for
anyone around?
yes, there is. Trust me,
Sorry
there
for.
is. No problem.
Okay.
There
Um,
is. So far as jump people use CBT around you, CBT centers around you. So there is always. So when that time comes, we'll carefully look at the centers around you. You choose the one that is very close to you for convenience sake. Okay. So yes, on the any other question?
no, not that question.
Okay. So for the SOC guys, yes, they run audits, but the audit guys that does the audit and the reporting of what those guys does is to ensure that a company is using the standard security measures. They are not doing those things themselves, but they ensure that MTN is using standard security measures out in a security environment. They ensure that those policies are the auditing, the policy guys, whatever. So this is a SIM tool. This is the Wazoo. Okay. So this information I'm showing you is very, 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 how do I put it? It's very high priced. You don't get to see it every time. So can you see what is written here? Can you see this? What is this?
Yes, events.
Events, exactly. So this is 16,002 events that has happened. And also the levels, they have to be.
Sir, can I ask one question for you?
Yes. Yes.
Sorry, sir. This SIM tool. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hurry up.
This SIM tool, is it to be used? Can you use it normally on a Chrome tab, or do you have to use it on a virtual lab, a virtual box? Sorry.
Okay, you can use it on your virtual machine, depending on the organization you're working with. What happens is that most of these tools are very, very costly. So organizations purchase them for their in-house staff that are working, the in-house SOC analysts that are working with them. So when you get enrolled in a company to work with a company, they will give you access to your SIM to your portals. So with the access, you will have your own interface. So, but if you want to go and build, if you want to build in-house, what's it called? Security modeling stuff. There are programs, there are courses also that could literally let you learn how to design and build an in-house lab. So that's something we could discuss about later. If you want assistance on that, we do. But when you're working for organizations, they give you access to their own workstations. So no matter where you are, and you will use them to, for example, what I wanted to show you is that in this particular area, we find out that 16,002 events has happened. Level 0, there is no higher levels here. Authentication failures, we are seeing 61 authentication failures, and authentication successes, 7,867. So that means the remaining ones are bad. So also, this wazoo of individual things that are happening, the alerts, what they are, how they are coming in. For example, you say top 5 alerts: Windows logon success, Windows user registry value, logon failure, and registry key. So if the alerts here are what's it called, brute force, etc., their size, you see the kind of alerts that came in. So the same tool is a nice tool that shows how all these things work. We have less than 1 minute more for the recording to stop. And also for each event, you can actually look into it. You see, it has a timestamp when it happened, the ID, the agent ID, the agent IP, the IP address. You can take it and look it up to know whether this person is coming from a verified area or not. So the information here is what you pick to raise the ticket and submit the ticket and say, there is an issue I noticed. Okay, look at the ticket I've raised. So you use the ticket and push out to the people ahead of you. So that is it today. We are actually going to, before the day runs out, like I told you, I will be pushing out and helping you guys to register for the exam. So thank you very much. The recording will stop in a few seconds, and we'll talk in the group. So thank you, and do have a great weekend.
Thank you very much, sir. You too, sir.
Yes, you're welcome.